My name is Danny. I'm 29, and I've made more mistakes than I care to count. But none have carved as deep a wound as the night I used my own past like a weapon and drove it straight into the heart of the man who loved me most. There were no screams, no shattered plates, no slammed doors. Just one sentence, soft, sharp, and irreversible. A single moment that unraveled everything. It replays endlessly in my mind. The way I said it, the look on his face, the silence that followed. I've always known words could cut deep, that they could destroy, just as surely as fists or fury. I just never imagined I'd be the one wielding them like a blade. It started like any other evening in our small apartment. Jay came home later than usual, the collar of his shirt creased, his shoulders sagging with fatigue. He'd been picking up extra shifts at work, filling in for a colleague who'd fallen ill. I knew that. I knew how drained he must have felt. But in that moment, all I could see was what he'd forgotten. Again, we had plans. A dinner I'd carefully put together, reservations made, everything timed just right. I wasn't asking for grand gestures. I just wanted to feel like I mattered, like I was invisible. I wanted one evening where I wasn't waiting or understanding or pushing my own feelings aside. He walked in, dropped his keys with the same casual clatter as always, and smiled. "Hey, babe," he said gently, leaning in to kiss me. I turned my face away. His smile faded. "What's wrong?" he asked, confused but calm. And that was all it took. The dam broke. All the little things I'd let slide, all the times I'd told myself it wasn't a big deal, they poured out of me in one long stream of resentment. The forgotten texts. The way he always seemed to be putting everything else first, his job, his family, his stress. I told him I was done feeling like a placeholder in my own relationship, that I was tired of showing up for someone who seemed to constantly forget I was there. He tried to explain, said he was doing his best, that he didn't realize tonight mattered so much, that he thought I understood. But I didn't want to understand. I wanted to hit him where it would hurt. So I said the one thing I knew I couldn't take back. Maybe if he treated me the way Ryan did, I wouldn't feel so invisible. Ryan, my ex, the one who swept me off my feet with big declarations and flashy gestures. The one who bought gifts, who made me feel adored in crowded rooms. The same man who chipped away at my spirit when no one else was looking. But I didn't say that. I just threw Jay's quiet love into comparison with a man who had once made me feel like the center of the universe. Before he reminded me I wasn't. Jay didn't flinch. He didn't yell. He didn't ask questions or try to defend himself. He just stared at me with an expression I still can't forget, somewhere between heartbreak and quiet acceptance. Then, in the softest voice I've ever heard, he said, "Then maybe you should have stayed with him." No venom, no bitterness, just quiet surrender. And then he turned and walked into the bedroom, closing the door behind him, not in anger, not to make a statement, just gently, like someone placing a bookmark between two pages they never planned to return to. I sat on the couch in stunned silence. The TV buzzed in the background, but I couldn't hear it. I was listening for him, for footsteps, for the door to open again. But it never did. After more than an hour, I stood and walked to the bedroom, expecting to find him curled under the covers, hurt but still there. He was gone. A few clothes were missing. His sneakers, the worn shaving kit he always packed when he left town. And on my pillow, a note, 2 lines. Nothing more. I love you, but I won't fight to be enough anymore. I deserve someone who doesn't compare me to a ghost. I crumpled to the floor. Not because he'd left, but because he was right. Jay was never the loud one. He didn't love with grand declarations or impulsive gestures. He loved with presence, with unwavering, gentle consistency. He held my hand when anxiety clawed at my chest. He rubbed my back when cramps bent me over in pain. He remembered how I liked my coffee. He listened, truly listened, when I rambled about work or vented about nothing. He was there, always, but I had spent so long measuring him against someone who made me feel special for the wrong reasons. Ryan, who made up for cruelty with roses, who apologized with plane tickets, who shouted, then smoothed the damage with sweet words and weekend getaways. Jay never needed to apologize like that. because he never made me feel small in the first place. But I punish him for not being louder, for not dazzling me in the ways I thought I wanted. What I really missed wasn't Ryan. It was feeling seen. And instead of asking for what I needed, I struck out at the one person who would have given it to me if I had just said the words. Days passed. No calls. No texts. The silence stretched until it felt like a weight pressing on my chest. I sent him one message. Just one. Jay, I didn't mean it. I was angry. You've always been the one who stayed. I'm sorry. He never responded. A week later, a mutual friend mentioned he'd moved in with his cousin across town. No drama. No rebound. Just gone. Slipped away like the soft closing of that bedroom door. It's been nearly 3 weeks. I still sleep on the left side of the bed, as if he might return and fill the space beside me. I still glance at the door around the time he used to get home. I still listen for his key in the lock. And every day I wish I could rewind time, swallow those words, hold him instead of hurt him. But some things once spoken can't be undone. If you're reading this and you're with someone who loves you gently, who tries, who stays, who doesn't always know the right words but shows up anyway, please don't make the mistake I did. Don't confuse quiet with apathy. Don't compare them to someone who is louder, flashier, or more dramatic, because sometimes the loudest love is also the most destructive. And sometimes the quiet kind, the patient, steady, unshakable kind, is the only love that will carry you through a lifetime. Jay did, and I let him walk away. So if you're ever tempted to hold someone up to the shadow of your past, stop. Ask yourself whether it's really about them or about something you're aching to feel. Because once those words leave your mouth, they live on. And sometimes they're the very reason the one person who loved you most decides not to come back.